Hey now, you're watching HotHouse Global. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rivers of Sound live stream performances, part 4. Tonight's performance will feature two wonderful musicians who are part of the Rivers of Sound ensemble. Joining us on the clarinets will be J.D. Perrin, and on the piano, John Escreet. This series of performances has been kind of well, let's put it this way. We were supposed to have a 2 week tour, and all of this was canceled due to COVID-19. And in lieu of that tour, I decided to put together some live streaming performances that would consist of subsets of the larger ensemble. So last week, for HotHouse Global, we featured Nasheet Waits on the drums and Carlo DeRosa on bass and Dhafar Tawil on the oud. The week before that, we had 3 other members, and before that, 4 members. The ensemble has 17 people, so with one more performance, we'll have gotten through all of the musicians. I encourage you to tune in. Either check my Facebook page, facebook.com/AmirElSaffar, or you can also check HotHouse Global. And I want to thank Marguerite and Vedran and Luis and everybody at HotHouse Global for hosting this series. Not only have they been hosting Rivers of Sound, but a lot of other great improvised ensembles during this time of quarantine when we can't have live music in person. So in the meantime, we hope you enjoy these performances. And there will be a Q&A afterwards, so I encourage you to stick around. We're going to play for roughly half an hour, and then we'll see. So enjoy the ride. Nice, guys. First time playing together as a trio. It's beautiful. JD, you could come up just a tiny bit. I think just bring up your gain like a half a half a notch before we go on to the next part.
Okay.
Try that?
You went down. That's okay though. I know you're going up and down when you
Yeah.
talk or when you play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's hear some of that E flat. E flat clarinet. Go for it. Beautiful, JD.
Thank you, Amir.
John, you
Thank you,
sound
Amir.
great, man. It's so good to hear you across the digital waves. Hold on. All right, there we go. Better sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was fun. We got some very unexpected things happening, which is always the fun part of improvisation, and even more so in this context. So, those of you just joining us, we are presenting a. We just presented a concert of improvised music, featuring J.D. Perrin on the clarinets and on a couple of flutes as well, and John Escrete on the piano. JD is in Midtown Manhattan. John is in Los Angeles. I'm in Uptown Manhattan. So we're doing all this over a over internet connection, and the benefits and the miracle as well as the limitations of live streaming performance. Um, John, was that your first time doing this type of thing?
Yeah, very first time. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I hear you when you talk that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a brand new experience for me, like completely. So I have no idea kind of what just happened. I'd be curious to hear it. You know, like in terms of the connectivity and you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to just say a couple of things about the instruments that I played: the soprano, the B flat, and E flat alto, and the B flat bass clarinet. But um, I played two instruments made by AACM artist Douglas Stewart, past president
Mm.
Douglas Stewart, which I do play his instruments. This is a wind chime, peace chime, wind chime, peace chime,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of his double flutes. Played it better a minute ago.
Yeah. So, why is it a double flute?
Because the note is in the middle, and you can play it.
Ah.
So he
So it could.
specializes in reusing those nodes instead of drilling all the way through.
Amazing.
That's one of his relates in a way to found objects, but he creates a multiple instrument in one.
Beautiful.
Who's
Yeah.
got who's got the siren outside the window?
What's that?
Who had the siren outside their window just now? Amir or
It wasn't here. It's
JD?
probably in Midtown. Was that by you, JD, the siren?
I didn't even notice it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it was.
There was a while where it's like constant here in New York, the sound of sirens. Like one would die out and another one would fade in, and it was, I mean, it was rough for a while. It's I guess it's it's mellowing out a little bit right now. Um, Now, I understand that there are live stream questions that people can post, and I'm not sure if I'm not seeing them because we're not logged into that because there's a little bit more delay. So, does anybody, maybe our technicians, Vedran or Luis, can send us any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to sign in, but that's going to get tricky because every time there's another step in this process, there's like a few seconds delay. So then you start hearing yourself talking in a different time zone. I'm looking on my handy app here, Twitch.tv. Let's see if people are.
There's another step in this process. There's like a
No, I
few
hear myself. Okay. Uh, yeah, somebody asked me about the string instrument. This instrument is called the santur, and it's an instrument typical of Iraq and the Middle East in general, but particularly Iraq. And it was invented around 3,000 years ago. So it's part of the heritage of ancient Mesopotamia that's still very much in use today. And it basically is like a hammer dulcimer, if you've ever seen one, or a cembalum, like they call it in Eastern Europe. And it's got 24 bridges, and on each bridge there's four strings, so four strings per note or per chorus. They're all tuned the same, so like those are all G, etc. The main difference in the tuning is that this has microtones, so there's There's an E half flats and sometimes B half flat, A half flat, etc. And it's considered to be the ancestor of the modern day piano. So it's always interesting when we play piano. Actually, I remember playing in Cecil's band. JD, do you remember when Cecil would have me start the sets? There
Yeah.
was a period during I think it was the last run that we did, and I would start. He would just take the stage and cue me, and I'd start playing, and then he would take the mallets and play inside the piano, and that was the beginning of of a lot of those concerts that ended up becoming such a huge and glorious sound that
Cecil.
yeah, yeah. JD was playing. You were playing bass saxophone and clarinet also, or just bass sax?
Well, I had piccolos around, and
You had some. Yeah, I mean,
mostly of the bass, mostly the bass saxophone.
yeah. That was a tremendous band. Uh, I hope those recordings come out one day.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions coming from the audience or from elsewhere or from you guys? We're just hanging. All
From
right.
us, yeah. I'm curious. I'm just curious how it sounded. We have a recording of this we can see, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Someone's asking how are we approaching arranging the events? You mean the musical events within the piece of music, or do you mean the events? I think you mean the all the. You're talking about within the piece. I'm sorry, I'm reading this sidebar. In this case, we're keeping it very open, and I had considered. Well, there was three options. Two options. Either playing composed material or improvised material, and then maybe the third would be something in between. And in terms of composed material, if we were to draw on the Rivers of Sound repertoire, I just didn't see it working in this context. That music was written for 17 musicians, and um, rendering it on these instruments with the current conditions of latency and sounds that sometimes go in and out. I don't think those tunes are really designed to be played in this way. And then I thought about making new arrangements of new pieces for the context, which might work successfully, but I felt like the most important thing, because of the distance between us, is that we put as much energy into our listening and our hearing faculties as possible. And when you have written scores in front of you, invariably some part of you of your consciousness and your mind and your attention is going to that score, and you're losing a little bit of that hearing. I mean, we're always doing both, but in my experience, the less material you're trying to read, um, the better we can listen. And I think that this experiment is in how can we hear across distances, and how can we still play in time even when we have um, these issues of latency and long distances between us. And it's the answer is being played out in our performances. And I don't know if the three of us were in the same room playing. I mean, certainly we would play different stuff. Um, and maybe some things would be easier, but it's almost like we're dealing with filters right now. You know how like the synthesizer has high pass and low pass filters, and when we EQ, it's now we have this extreme filter, which is each person's sound getting compressed into a little tiny space. And I won't say it's easy, and it's certainly no replacement for playing live. But I don't want to completely stop playing music with improvising with my friends, just because of the fact that we're not able to assemble. Um, so it was truly an improvised performance with no set structures. Yeah, which we would do sometime. I mean, it would be totally plausible for us to go into a club and play like that. I think all of us have. John, so did you say you were going to do something, another thing like this, another online, or were you just pre-recording stuff?
No, I did a previous. I mean, it was a live stream by myself, so it wasn't
Okay.
interacting immediately with anybody else. But I've done a couple of those things. But this is the first time, making music with somebody else in a different location. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there are ways to improve on the software and to get better with the technology as it is. There's ways to get better fidelity on the sound,
Yeah, I
but
think there's all kinds of things you can do to pick up and improve. It's definitely, I'm sure, a work in progress. Like this technology is going to be more needed, as you know.
yeah,
But it should never become like a replacement. Obviously.
no, no, no matter how good it gets.
Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how good it gets. It's not.
Yeah,
The same.
yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah. How about you, JD? How do you feel playing like this?
Uh, I think it's a matter of not just the technology, but the equipment. I probably need a better microphone. I'd like a better microphone.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad that I have what I have. I'd like a to. I think this is just like any new instrument. They're playing this program and this little gadget that I just picked up this morning and installed. You learn how to do these, and you improve it.
Yeah,
You improve your working within the genre, and
yeah,
I would like to do more of it.
yeah.
I couldn't believe it when we hooked up everything today and it worked at
Yeah.
all. And one time I noticed during the performance that my mic was turned off. I don't know how long it was, but I saw the red light and I clicked it. I clicked it back on.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was about
you know.
2 minutes, but it felt like an eternity.
Oh, I'm sorry that it was
Yeah.
that
No,
long.
no, it's just I don't know why this program it randomly mutes sometimes. Like you probably didn't hit the mute button. It happened earlier today too.
No, no, I
So,
didn't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
in any case, but it allowed me to turn the mic back on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it told you that you were being muted.
Yeah, that I was
Okay, good.
being muted, and it allowed me to turn the mic back on
Yeah.
with my mouse.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because the other tricky thing is that we haven't found a way yet so that someone could be in the master command and mixing as we go and adjusting levels. So we do our sound check right before, this afternoon and right before the downbeat. And then those are kind of the levels. And if anything weird is happening in the meantime, other than like getting a sidebar, have these messages in the sidebar, but that's not really, to be reading a sidebar while you're playing is a little bit awkward. So
I thought we were very in tune though with our work
it felt good. It
today.
felt
Yeah,
really
I
good
really
playing
felt
with
that we were harmonious in
you.
our
Yeah,
in what we were doing with each other and taking what one person gave and passing it on and things like that. I thought it was working very, very well.
mm.
It's
Very
wonderful.
happy.
Wonderful to hear both of you guys again.
Yes, you too, Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
John.
Yeah, I get tired of practicing all the same stuff by myself, so it's nice to have other inputs, like. And I mean, you can listen to music, or learn something, but there's something about live interaction. It's just, it's the responding.
Somebody from Korea just wrote me. It's all black. Is it supposed to be like that?
Oh,
So I'm going to ask her if she heard it.
well, I hope that there was video. I know there was at least on the Twitch TV. If it's not on Facebook, I'll fix that later. I'll repost it. And then just two questions that came in. One from Marguerite. Thank you, Marguerite, for hosting this and for starting this
Marguerite.
initiative. And for all the great work you've done with HotHouse over the decades. Um, Marguerite's question is, how do traditional musicians respond to me or us building on with new ideas? And it's so far, well, maybe if the ones that don't like it, they don't say anything. But so far, I've had some.
Some of them do.
So I've had some very positive reactions. This particular performance was not drawing so much on traditional music, except in the obvious ways, in which I was playing on the some tour, but it wasn't explicitly microtonal in that sense or using the maqams. I mean, it invariably sneaks into my playing, but I think and JD and John tend to respond in because you both have played with me a lot in different contexts. Um, but this was more like treating it like an improvised session, a free session. But that said, I guess the general thing is that I often feel like I'm trying to get away with as much as I can in terms of like when a let's say an Arabic speaking listener who knows the maqam really well is hearing the music, it doesn't detract from the basic elements that keep that music, that give it its integrity. And sometimes I stretch further, but often, especially with Rivers of Sound, it's about kind of being in that balance where the maqam, which is the modal system, that sound is persisting and reverberating throughout, even if a lot of other activities happening in the other instruments and creating sort of different textures, but there's a basic essence that stays. But the main thing for me was when my teacher Hamid Sa was a great maqam singer. When he first heard my band, and I was terrified to play in front of him, I thought he would think I would had ruined everything that he'd ever taught me, and I thought he'd be pissed or something. So he came up to me and he was actually very upset afterward. I thought, oh God, here we go, and he was upset because I didn't invite him to come sing with us, and he loved the music so much and he loved what we were doing, and he recognized the maqam throughout. So that was a validating, and maybe if I care about any traditional musician, it's him because he's so knowledgeable about maqam. And then the other question from Magnet School is how do we coordinate audio streams? So we're all playing over an internet connection through an application called StreamYard, and then it's getting hosted by HotHouse Global. Two people, Vedran and Luis, who are our engineers, are managing the video and some of the audio stuff. And we're just doing the best we can. There's always going to be latency, and there's always going to be some compromise with the signal, but the point is to transcend that and for the vibe to be there, even if the elements aren't exactly the way we want them to be. So hopefully that's happening. Hopefully that's what's coming through, because that's the intention. But I look forward to listening to this. This is our fourth time. The previous three are cataloged, I guess, on my Facebook page, AmirElSaffar, also on HotHouse Global, but volumes 2 and 3 and now 4 are on HotHouse Global. The first performance is on Dartmouth.com, HopkinsCenter.com. Anyway, I'm giving you a lot of information. You might not need to watch any more of these, but we are keeping a record of this, and maybe it'll.
I do. I want to watch more of
Oh, they're all yours, man.
them.
I'll send you all those links. I guess they're on my Facebook page. That's the best way to find them.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I was surprised that the lady in Korea had problems because she's on Facebook,
well,
and I
maybe
and I sent her the Facebook link.
I got a message from my wife who's in the next room, and she said it was the same for her, like it was all black, but she could hear very well.
Good. Okay, they could hear. All right.
well, I will. I'm gonna repost it on Facebook with the recording of this, so that at least that'll go out the way it's supposed to. It's like we're playing in one app and then it broadcasts to multiple other apps and they have to manage it, so doesn't
It's
always
there
come out.
somewhere.
Huh?
It's there somewhere. The video is there somewhere.
Yeah. I think this is all being seen on Twitch. I think the issue is a Facebook issue,
Nice.
not the yeah. But we'll sort it out afterward. So I think that's about it. Oh, I see another question. Can you tell people what maqam is? That's a long answer. It's in short, it's the modal system of the Middle East. It's 7-note scales, very similar in some ways to the Greek modes. If you've ever studied, Western music and the roots of Western music. But the main difference is the presence of microtones, like I was demonstrating earlier. So that note is an E half flat, so it fits kind of between the, it's not a half step or a whole step, it's a 3/4 step interval. So there's a lot of those, and the music is generally kind of what we call heterophonic, which means multiple people playing the same melody, but variations at the same time, as opposed to harmony, as opposed to like chords and counterpoint and stuff like that that's used in Western music. But it's a long topic, and there's a page on my website, AmirElSaffar.com, called About the Iraqi Maqam, and you can learn about the Iraqi tradition specifically and more traditions from there. So I encourage you to check it out. But thank you all so much. Thank you, people on the back end, Vedran, Luis, Marguerite, everyone at HotHouse Global. It's a volunteer effort, and we appreciate it. There should be a donate link somewhere if you want to donate to this series. I think you can see it on your screens. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Good night.